Hey guys, welcome back. It is myself against Gary Oak. This is in the ADV Team Tour on Pokemon Perfect group stages, and I am up 1-0 in a best-of-3 set. So let's just get back into it. We will switch sides and put myself on the bottom again. We have a tower-on-tower lead this time. I'm going to go to Skarm, which is pretty standard in the Tower v Tower mirror match. It's going to be safe from Earthquake, going to be safe from Fire Blast, Brick Break. Focus Punch is I said Fire Blast. I'm sorry. I was tangling my thoughts mentally. Fire Blast is the one thing you're not safe from, but nobody's going to blast in the Tower Mirror match. Anyhow, this whole entire... I just skipped through it in 30 seconds because that's just the way that I narrate sometimes. I'm not doing like a step-by-step thing. But this whole turn 1 through 6, I just went through it in 30 seconds. But there were a lot of what Zomog calls mental gymnastics going into play here. Mind games, whatever you want to call it. Zomog actually broke this down way more extensively. He did a whole 10-minute video on just the first 6 turns of this game and all the mental stuff that went into it. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm going to link that in the description if you guys want a much slower, more detailed breakdown as to how those first 6 turns came to be and why they were so important. But basically, I kept him off guard with that Focus Punch on turn 6, which is going to get his Tar, which I specifically set him up for. That was not just random or lucky or whatever. And like I said, Zomog is going to explain it with a lot more depth than I care to at this moment. But check out that video in the description if you're interested. But I feel like that turn 6, that Focus Punch, killing his T-Tar, was probably the most important turn in the game. So we're just going to take note of that real quick before proceeding. So Focus Punch again. Going to hit Skarmory right in the belly. 37% is not bad, but it does not prevent him from getting spikes. I go to Moltres in case he spikes again, but he ends up going to Claydol instead. I'm now going to go to Skarm, and it gets in on Coon. Probably pretty safe here to get at least a layer down. And he's going to opt for Gengar here, which is going to be a threat offensively to Skarm. I'm going to protect to scout what he's doing. Turns out to be Will-O-Wisp. I don't have an amazing switch in for that. Moltres is safe against Will-O-Wisp, but it's not so safe against Thunderbolt and other things that Gengar can probably do. So there's Spike's layer number 2. He's going to Rapid Spin there. I didn't go to Gengar, so he's going to outpredict me on that turn. I go to Moltres at this point. It takes a Psychic, no problem, 26%. Claydol not exactly an offensive powerhouse. I'm hoping that he booms here. That does not work out. He simply Psychics again, and the burnt Skarm comes in. Now Swampert comes in, just trying to pivot dance. He's going to Rapid Spin, so Swampert comes in pretty safely on that. And now here is the Coon. We go for Surf to put some pressure on the Claydol. That also would have hit the Gengar had that come in. Now the Gengar comes in. I went for Toxic on the Coon, so that was a good double switch for Gary. He got the Gengar in for free because he did that. And he's going to burn me at this point with Will-O-Wisp. I'm going to get him with Surf, but I do in fact have Refresh. If he doesn't have a Grass attack, this Gengar is not going to be able to do much of anything to me. But as it turns out, he does have a Grass attack. There's Giga Drain. Refresh does get rid of the burn, but I have a much bigger issue now that the Swampert just got devastated for 2/3 of its health. Giga Drain there comes down again, obviously, trying to kill the Swampert. I protected for lefties, and we're going to get out of the way. Celebi comes in. That was trying to commit on a Giga Drain, but it comes in on Coon. That works just as well. And he goes back to his Skarm here on the safe generic Leech Seed turn to slow some of the tempo that he was building up at that point. He goes back to Coon. I go for the Psychic there. That was aimed at either the Coon or the Gengar should it come in. Coon works just as well. 25% chip damage. I'll take it. Here comes Leech Seed. That's going to connect with his last Pokemon, Rachi. Had to be another Rock Resist there, whether it was Rachi or Swampert. It was very likely that... I don't know. Claydol is your only Rock Resist. Just seems really unlikely to me. Really loose. Jirachi makes a lot of sense as his last poke. I'm able to predict the Coon on the way in, get him with hidden power. This gives me a free opportunity to fish for a crit that doesn't come, and as such, the wish is passed successfully. Annoyingly, I missed Leech Seed here, and it costs 2 PP, so it's even more annoying because I have to Leech Seed again and cost 2 more PP. I'm not in any danger here. It's just I might get run out of Leech Seed PP if this game drags on. But the Leech Seed is going to force out the Coon. Here's the Rachi. Hidden Power Grass trying to put some offensive pressure on. Obviously, Rachi does not care about that. and he's going to be able to Wish Pass once again if that's what he wants to do. So I get the Leech Seed on him, so he himself cannot stay in forever, but there's nothing preventing him from passing this. Once again, I give myself an opportunity to simply crit and kill the Coon. Doesn't happen, but I do negate a good portion of the Wish by getting him with the Hidden Power. Here's Rachi. I take the offensive play since I am faster than the Coon, and maybe I can beat him up before he Calm Minds up and also save some Leech Seeds. But Gary, playing very defensively and conservatively, is once again gonna try to pass that Wish to the Coon. Same sequence here, fishing for a crit. This time the crit would not have killed, but again, I negate a decent portion of the Wish, but I am getting PP stalled out. I go to Moltres here, trying to switch it in on the Jirachi. I fail in doing so. He simply stays in and Calm Minds. At this point, I go back to Celebi because a +1 Surf is not something Moltres wants to be in the way of. Celebi takes it just fine, only 18%, very healthy after the damage and the spikes. And there is a Calm Mind, the second, and it's going to force a Leech Seed out of me, which we're getting a little bit low of here thanks to pressure. So again, offensive choice here. Go for the HP Grass. Rachi comes in. At this point, I'm going to stay in for the Leech Seed. And guess what? The cycle repeats. He's going to go for Wish. So you guys can see where this is going. However, because the Rachi itself is getting somewhat low, I'm going to try to make a prediction that he's going to stay in and eat his own Wish, and I'm going to get the Moltres in. There's a 60-40 there favoring him that I would be paralyzed, but I get the better end of the luck and avoid the Body Slam para. I get a Will-O-Wisp burn off here, and I'm going to switch to Gengar on the serve, who takes it pretty well. Gengar is pretty nice here because he's offensively threatening against anything that remains for Gary. Will-O-Wisp there is an over-prediction, thinking that Jirachi would come in, but I was incorrect. The Coon is going to stay in and go for Rest, get rid of the previous burn, and now Claydol is going to come in, but I'm going to Will-O-Wisp again. That time I was correct, but I was not rewarded for my good prediction. The 75-25 that was favoring me does not go my way. Psychic happens. It's a crit. Skarm is, I mean, that crit almost didn't matter. The health of Skarm doesn't overly matter at this point, but he is going to be very, very low after getting hit by that crit, and he's still suffering from that burn. I'm going to get the Claydol with a Hidden Powered Bug. He's going to get me back with Earthquake. This is a one-on-one fight that I will win if we keep going blow for blow. The Claydol is overwhelmingly likely to not survive the HP Bug here should I go for it, and I feel like I'm obligated even though that Gengar switch was very probable. I could have gone for Rock Slide there, but it would have been real bad had he just stayed in. So I play like a chicken shit, and I do not get rewarded for it. Didn't have the balls to go Rock Slide, and we're going to fodder off Skarm here as Gengar does its thing. Taunt there is going to prevent a spike on the way out. Good on him. And there is the burn damage, leaving me all but dead. Any attack from Gengar, but curiously, he's going to let me do this instead. I don't know what the point of that was. It's going to give me a free switch into the Coon of my choice. And obviously, I'm going to opt for the Gengar. So I'm going to go Thunderbolt here, just in case the Coon stays in. It does not. Here's Jirachi. It's a Body Slam Rachi, so it can't do anything to me other than Fire Punch me, which I absolutely do not care about with this bulky Gengar. The only thing that would be obnoxious is if there were a burn. I'm going to switch Moltres in on the predicted Fire Punch. That's going to be correct. Moltres laughs it off for only 10%. Jirachi is now burnt and staring down Moltres. That's not where he wants to be. Flamethrower 55% against Gengar here. Not a bad chunk, but I'm not going to be able to live a Thunderbolt. And I can see via the sand that the Gengar is, in fact, faster than my Moltres. Not surprising. I'm going to sneak the T-Tower in very safely on the Jirachi. That was a good play on my end. Unfortunately, I'm not able to follow up with the correct prediction. I'm now going to go Gengar, but Gary's not able to make the right prediction either. He Giga Drains into my Gengar, which I absolutely do not care about. And as it turns out, my Gengar is faster than his Gengar. So it's going to be a free opportunity to attack. Ice Punch there nails the Claydol, which was the prediction, but it would have been fine had he stayed in on the Gengar as well. I'm once again going to try to get Rachi in safely on, T-Tar in safely on Jirachi. I will be successful in that endeavor, and I'm going to get a free attack. Rock Slide there, the miss is, it's hacks technically, but it doesn't matter because the damage, unless it were a crit, would have been negated by the Wish, and Gengar is going to come in on the Coon, who has been asleep for just the one turn. Thunderbolt, big damage. That is a critical hit. Kuhn is not a Sleep Talk variant, and now he's in some trouble. Should he stay in, he will absolutely die to the Thunderbolt. Gary at this point realizes that between the Moltres and especially the Gengar, he just does not have good defensive answers, and he's going to get cleaned up, and he is going to concede. So a lot of that late game was really just going through the motions. Yes, there were opportunities for me to throw and fuck up, and it certainly would not be the first time. But in the overwhelming majority of situations, unless he gets unbelievably lucky or unless I massively throw the game, it's going to go my way after that T-Tire sequence. So really those first 6 turns were absolutely crucial to this game. Like I said, if you want to see a breakdown as to how and why those turns came to be, Zomog took a really close, detailed look at it in his own video, and you guys can check that out in the description. If it interests you, make sure to subscribe to his channel if you've not done so already. But I'm going to take down this set 2-0 against Gary Oak. Unfortunately, our team did not end up making playoffs. We lost out in a very hard group. It was myself, Georgie, and Dice. I went 2-1. Dice went 2-1. Georgie went 1-2. So in a really hard group, we had a combined score of 5-4, which is decent. But the 2 leading teams in the group, including Gary Oak's team, and I keep mentioning Zomog because Gary and Zomog are teammates in this tournament, which is where Zomog factors into this. But Gary and Zomog's team did make the playoffs, so this loss, even though, I feel good for a victory here, I felt like I played well, did not end up biting them, and they ended up making the playoffs anyway. The tournament is still in progress. We don't know who's going to win, but Gary and Zomog's team is still alive at the time of this video, in which the tournament is in the top 4. So we'll see what happens with that. But in the meantime, I've got some more tournament content today. Look forward to that. Thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.